Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about the different types of unemployment. Just because a labor market is at an equilibrium doesn't necessarily mean there's no unemployment. Some people are still going to be unemployed. And to understand this, it helps to understand the different types of unemployment. And so unemployment occurs because either one of two things happens. Either markets don't clear or there's a decrease in demand for workers. So if markets don't clear, that's happening ongoingly. That's always going to be the case because there's going to be frictions in matching workers to employers. Meaning, yes, there may be the perfect worker available to fulfill an open job vacancy, but it's still costly, at least in the sense of time, to try to find that worker from the employer standpoint and for that worker to find the employee. So because there's, lots of different occupations, industries, labor markets in general, different areas to work, and imperfect information about workers and jobs, meaning workers don't know all information about available jobs, and workers that are or employers that are posting job vacancies don't have perfect information about possible workers. So because of these, discrepancies and these frictions, um, it leads to job and employee search costs, meaning uh, both employers and employees have to spend time looking for a good match, looking for a good employer, or looking for the right employee. Um, and so because this time cost leads to unemployment because there's going to be a certain percentage of people that are unemployed because they can't find the right job. Okay. Additionally, there's always going to be some labor markets are not going to clear because of the structural components that prevent the labor market wage from clearing, meaning the wage is at some other wage rate that's not the equilibrium wage rate, where quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied of labor. Okay, we'll talk about this more extensively in a later video. Again, the other piece that can lead to unemployment is a decrease in the demand for labor because of downturns in the business cycle, because of recessions. We're going to see decreases in the demand for labor, which is going to lead to increases on unemployment. During economic growth periods, we're going to see decreases in unemployment. We're going to see more people working. Okay. All right. So by frictional unemployment, just to be clear, out of the different types of unemployment, the first one is this frictional unemployment, and this frictional unemployment again is just associated with the time-consuming process of job search. Okay? Again, there's going to be structural unemployment, and this structural unemployment is essentially due to a mismatch between worker skill sets and the skill sets desired by firms. Structural unemployment can also manifest itself because of downward wage rigidity. And this is something we're going to model in the labor when we talk about the labor market. Basically, these are just societal norms or institutions or even laws that are imposed on the labor market that prevent, again, the market wage from clearing. Typically, with downward wage rigidity, it's going to hold market prices above the market clearing wage. And this can be due to minimum wage laws, labor unions, and then just workers just being resistant to accepting lower wages. So firms are sometimes more likely just to lay workers off as opposed to lowering wages for all workers. So um, these first two types of unemployment, frictional and structural, they're always going to be present in the labor market. We can't get rid of all structural and all frictional unemployment. Why? Because there's always going to be a little bit of a mismatch between workers' skill sets and the skill sets demanded by firms, structural unemployment, and there's always going to be a little bit of friction in trying to find the appropriate job. Therefore, when we aggregate all people that are unemployed and all from frictional sources and all structurally unemployed workers, we call this the natural rate of unemployment, meaning if the unemployment rate is at the natural rate of unemployment, we call that full employment. Because the third type of unemployment is cyclical unemployment. And this cyclical unemployment is due to, again, changes in the business cycle. So the cyclical unemployment is measured by finding the deviation of the unemployment rate from the natural rate of unemployment. Okay, so any unemployment rate that's greater than the sum of frictional and structural unemployment is counted as cyclical unemployment. Okay, this cyclical unemployment, one, is is what we're seeing the unemployment that we're seeing with associated with the pandemic, and it's the unemployment that we're trying to minimize as much as possible. Because unemployment, it can start as cyclical unemployment, but the longer workers are unemployed, the more their human capital depreciates, meaning their skill sets are less useful in productive activities, which means workers may start out as cyclically unemployed, but become structurally unemployed. And as they continue to be unemployed, they're going to be suffering from losses in income, obviously, but then also losses in skills, social interaction, and perceived self-worth, which is really a health concern for those people that are unemployed for really long periods of time. Okay, so we overall, from like a policy standpoint, we really want to do what we can as a society to minimize unemployment and people that want jobs and can't find jobs for significantly long periods of time.